Well, hey there, adventurers. How's it going?
Wow.
What is it? What is
Th-
it?
No, that
Jack?
was good.
Yeah.
I'm a good guy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
You
natural.
sure you want to keep that one in?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so
Adventurers.
adventurers. Yep. That's what that's what all the people say, right? Um
All the people.
all
That's
the
what the cool
people,
that's what all the
all the
kids say.
cool
That's what the cool kids say
all the
these
cool
days.
kids. Is it cool to make a cool kids joke now? I don't know if it is.
I don't think I've heard that
Um,
in quite a while.
Obviously, I wouldn't just normally greet anybody that way. We're talking about something
We would
specific.
hope.
I'm just gonna start doing it now out of spite.
Of who yourself?
Part of me feels like we're kind of going at this particular topic a little out of order just because it's a particular part of this topic that we're talking about tonight, but it's not really like the overall topic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we have kind of lightly touched on the overall topic. This is a very like niche
Yeah.
part of that, which
Yeah.
is we're going to talk about Critical Role
Right.
tonight.
Right.
Jack, tell us what Critical Role is.
Critical Role is, I mean, if you've been living under a rock, a D&D rock, then you may not know, but everybody else
They're
knows.
dice. We don't.
Oh, it's
It's
D&D.
not rocks.
Oh,
Dice.
right. Um, it is arguably the most famous, the most recognizable D&D platform, we'll say,
Yeah, like actual play.
actual play.
Yeah.
Through their YouTube, and you can even listen to them like on podcast. Started out strictly D&D.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, actually, they started out something else, right?
Well, the show started out
The show
strictly
did,
D&D,
right?
but we'll get a little bit more into
Yeah,
that. But
but
so yeah, it's
has shifted and changed in many a ways over the few years that it's
yeah,
been.
the few years. It's
Yeah,
been like a decade almost, I
well,
think, or more. Almost, I think almost.
it is. No, I think 2015 is right.
Yeah, it's either 2015 or 2017. Anyway, we're going to be talking about Critical Role and what's
Let's.
the future look like?
Who shall know? Well, we might when we get to the end of this rabbit hole.
Down and down the rabbit hole. Just how deep does it go? Where it stops, nobody knows. So let's go down the rabbit hole. Down and down the rabbit hole. Down and down the rabbit hole.
So, Critical Role, a little bit more in detail. It is, if I don't know how this became a popular thing to do, but Critical Role is a show, like a
Right.
web show, pretty much started on like Twitch and YouTube. Like they would do live streams of just them playing
Playing.
Dungeons and
Yeah.
Dragons. Yeah. Just it was a group of voice actors in California. And they're relatively like prestigious voice actors. Not even relatively. They're very prestigious voice actors. We're talking people who play on major video games. Laura Bailey and Ashley Johnson are both in The Last of Us, which is a pretty huge video game.
Yeah. I would argue that Ashley Johnson may be the most famous of
Right,
them.
because she was a child star.
Right.
Yeah.
And, so she's had like face acting,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
like
she was
live
in
action
she was technically
under
she
her
was
belt.
an extra in Avengers. I mean, maybe
Oh, yeah.
a little bit more of it than an extra, but she originally had like an actual speaking part in it.
She was interviewed by
Yeah, she was on TV in the actual movie, but and
right.
there was a cut scene or something like a deleted scene that she actually interacted with Captain America. But that's honestly one of the smallest roles she's had.
Yeah.
She started out on like
Different
she
stroke,
was
or
in
not different
Growing
stroke, excuse me.
Pains. I'm pretty
Growing
sure she was
pains.
in
Yeah.
Growing Pains.
Yeah.
I know being the guy that nerds out over martial arts movies, she was in a Van Damme movie back in the early '90s where she played his niece, um,
Jean
Lionheart.
Claude Van Damme.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah, yeah. Um, she was in What Women Want.
She was.
She played Mel Gibson's daughter,
She did that.
and a lot of people don't know this, but she played Annie in Annie
And
2.
Annie. Mm-hmm.
That's the big one right there.
That's
That's the
it.
one that everybody
That's
knows her from. Nah, but she's probably been like has had the longest career that I'm aware of. I'm pretty sure a lot of them have been doing stuff for quite a long time, but she had like more hit roles, I think. Like I know Taliesin, who is one of the other guys in there. He played like one of the main characters' brother in Explorers. He was in the movie Explorers, which kind of like a just one of those '80s kids adventure space movies like Flight of the Navigator or whatever, something like that. But so for people who don't know about Critical Role, it's a cast of a bunch of voice actors who they had started their own D&D campaign. Originally started out as a Pathfinder campaign, but then they got the opportunity to make a show out of it, and then they retrofitted their campaign to be actually Dungeons and Dragons. So I believe there's seven of them: Matthew Mercer, Laura
hmm
Bailey, Sam Riegel, Ashley Johnson, Taliesin Jaffe, Liam O'Brien, and Travis Willingham, and Marisha Ray. So there's eight of them.
yeah. And Matt Mercer is the DM.
Matt Mercer's the yeah, and so
So a DM and seven players. Maybe that's what you were
yeah,
thinking.
that's I think
Was the
that's
seven?
why yeah. And they originally had another guy. His name was
Oh yeah.
yeah Orion Akaba. He was also a voice actor, and he ended
Sounds
up
like
leaving the
a.
show.
He sounds like a Jedi name,
Orion
or s-
Akaba.
or like some made up name for some
Yeah,
sci-fi thing.
yeah. Um,
Actually, it sounds like a D&D name.
it kind of does. Kind of does. That's my next character's name.
That's your next one.
Orion Akaba. And so yeah, the whole show started out with them. They were in mid campaign. They've been playing for like 4 years, and they were, I believe, at level 8. And if like again, if you don't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons, it is a level up system where you start out at level 1, well, most of the time, and then you end at level 20. So, and they've been playing off and on for about I think it was like 4 to 6 years. I think it was 4 years. But so you kind of jump in the middle of a story arc. And man, that first episode was rough.
Yeah.
It was really rough.
You
Did you
mean like
actually ever watch it?
the first episode I did?
Yeah.
I went back
Oh.
and tried to. So, I started with the second campaign. And I wanted to go back. And I was like, I think it was in between like 2 and 3, campaigns 2 and 3. I wanted to go back and kind of get through the first one, and it was rough. I had kind of gotten used to the quality of second campaign, and so just jumping back into that alone, I was like, I see. So we're starting from like scratch here.
Yep.
And that's what they were doing, scratching,
Yeah.
scratching the surface.
Yeah, it had a tremendous amount of audio issues. And it clear like it wasn't even really in much of a studio. It looked like more like a space to a company's like lobby or something like that. It was very much like that, and they just kind of set up tables there.
Yeah.
And they started out with a I don't know what it was. It was I think it was a YouTube channel called Geek and Sundry, which I don't really
Mhm.
know a whole lot about. I didn't really ever follow them. I know that they were kind of headed up by an actress named Felicia Day, who's been in quite a lot of stuff. She was in Supernatural. She was in the show The Magicians. She was kind of in chart like over all that. From my understanding, that could be skewed, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate. And they kind of got it going, and it was going on during it was going on like in 2015, and people started watching it. But not long after that, Stranger Things came out,
Right.
and everybody knows that one of the first parts of Stranger Things, you see the monster attack, and then all of a sudden, they're in their
In
basement,
the
in Mike's
basement. Yeah.
basement, playing D&D, and it looked ridiculously fun. And I think all that combined kind of ended up getting people watching.
Yeah.
But
Because Stranger
then,
Things came out in 2016.
yeah, yeah, it had been going on for a while. That first season has 114 episodes. I think it's 114. Which you didn't even pass the first episode. You didn't watch that first season, right?
Um,
First campaign, I mean.
I know I didn't probably get past the second.
Yeah. Um,
I can say that
it
much.
it
I
got
don't
better
remember.
over time.
I,
Um,
I knew that because I'd seen clips and everything from later on in the campaign. Um, I knew who all the characters were. I knew a lot of the story arcs. I'd done a lot of research and read up on it, and it was kind of hard not to because it was such a big thing. If you
mhm.
were within like role play, now they did not. As I kind of stated earlier, but we didn't really delve into it. They didn't start off playing D&D. They started off with Pathfinder.
Yeah, I said that earlier.
Okay, but they shifted into it. But then they um by this point, if you were in kind of getting into any kind of like the nerd world, if you're getting into D&D at all, it was hard to escape this on your For You pages on any platform.
Hmm.
And so that's kind of how I kind of learned who all the characters were. At the same time, you were like, "Hey, have you ever thought about playing D&D? You're gonna make fun of me. You're gonna make fun of me. Don't make fun of me."
Yeah.
But have you ever played? At the same time, I had a guy at my church like, "Hey, have you ever thought about playing D&D?" Um, and never ended up playing with him.
That's
He
funny.
kind of like disappeared off the face of the earth
That's funny
shortly
because
after
that's
that.
how I got into D&D. Church.
Was a guy from
Yep.
your church
Little did they know
that is
we were
satanic.
inviting the devil into our house. So I got into Critical Role right when the second campaign started. One of the people that one of the other staffers that was playing with us shared the first episode of campaign 2 of Critical Role. And I watch it and I'm like, God, this thing's 4 hours long.
Hmm.
4 hours long. Um, then I ended up coming across the D and Diesel
Hmm.
little segment that Critical Role did with Vin Diesel, and which was wild for me to think that Vin Diesel, who generally is portrayed as like a super masculine character in almost every film he's ever in, was a huge D&D nerd.
Hmm.
And it was only 20 minutes, and I watched the whole thing, and I was like, this looks really fun.
Oh, it's kind of
So
awesome. Yeah, I remember that. That was one of my like. I was kind of the same way. It was a lot to take in a 4 hour episode, but I ended up getting into the whole Vin Diesel one because he's playing a witch hunter, and it's based off of The Last Witch Hunter, which
yeah,
was a
which
movie that he
was
had been in.
yeah.
And witches were always kind of my like. There's werewolves and vampires and all that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
and witches of like movies and stuff. It's not the same thing that like when we get into biblical stuff.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
those were my go-tos. I always loved them, and so that's kind of how I found that
Mhm.
episode. But that's really what really sparked my interest. Is
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this looks fun.
So I didn't understand the mechanics at all. There was just so many rules. Like if you ever want to play D&D there, and this is just tabletop games in general, you have to have a bunch of rules and mechanics to figure out how to do things, or else there's just going to be total chaos. So what I ended up doing was I started watching campaign 2 of Critical Role, and that is how I learned how to play D&D. And I can, if anybody is watching this that does like D&D, I can hear everybody being like, "Oh no, Buck is Buck is one of those guys that like
He is.
thinks D&D shut up. Thinks D&D has to be exactly like Critical Role." You're correct, I do. No, I don't. I don't at all, actually. As a matter of fact, we eventually started our own D&D campaign where
Which we talked about, I
Jack,
think,
yeah, we
last.
have. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jack was the DM, and Jack is nothing like Matt Mercer at all. And he, in my opinion, is quite a great DM. And
Oh,
yeah. But eventually I ended up going back and watching the entirety of campaign 1 while I simultaneously was
was
watching
watching
campaign
number two.
2. And Jack and I actually used to, while campaign 2 was going on, we would, on Thursday nights, we would
We
try to
call.
actually watch it together, and we'd video call each other, and
Yeah, because at that point we were living
pretty
three to
far
four
away
hours
from, yeah.
hours away from each other. So, and we would try to call and keep up, but that was not always possible at that time. Especially once we did start our own, we were playing while they were playing. So
Yeah.
our it just turned out that we couldn't make it work because a lot of the same
Yeah.
people, our people had to play on Thursday. Essentially,
Which
that was the only day that everybody had open.
it's still the case,
Yeah.
which sucks.
And we have a collection of people that we played with that have come in and come out. We had Shelly. Beverly played with us for a little bit. Jill plays with us now. Tom plays with us now. Finn started off with us, and Finn's wife, but she didn't stick long.
You'll eventually get to know who most of these people are.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Right.
some of them will be guests on here.
Yeah.
Some may not, but we'll
Rover
talk
was with
about them.
us for a while. He no longer plays with us,
Yeah.
and so we've had like a lot bog, and
Yeah,
so
Bog.
and dude, and so we've had like this whole there's been several,
Yeah.
and but we
So
still have like a core group that still plays,
yeah,
and a lot of it is due to Critical Role.
yeah, and I
Kind
mean,
of bring it
Critical
back full
Role,
circle.
and I can't help but feel like Critical Role has a massive, massive, massive part to play in the fact that Dungeons and Dragons is really popular right now in pop culture. It's not it's not just, hey, that's a fringe thing that a lot of nerds do anymore. Like we have like like real events where celebrities are playing stuff like Joe Mangin. How do you pronounce his last name? Manganiello.
Mangio,
Ma-
we went in about two different directions.
that guy.
Manganiello,
Manganiello. Uh, um and
Joe Man in Yellow.
Man in Yellow. No, and I mean he was gonna be Deathstroke in the Snyderverse, and Vince Vaughn plays in his D&D group. The guitarist from Rage Against the Machine plays in his group. You have Steve Colbert, who actually did a like a an episode with Matt Mercer where they played D&D together. You have people like Charlie Cox and Deborah Ann Wall, who were in Daredevil, and Deborah Ann Wall had her own actual play show for a little while called Relics and Rarities, and it was actually really interesting.
That's
But it was
very
behind a paywall. It's the only reason I didn't actually watch it.
same. I watched the episodes that were free, but I actually really enjoyed.
Yeah, they were different.
They
Very
were
different.
different, and I enjoyed them. I will say I enjoyed them probably just as much
Yeah.
as Critical Role.
Mm-hmm.
They were very different, but I enjoyed the setup for them.
So we've talked a lot about this, but let's give you a little taste of what it was like.
No, I am not done.
All right.
I wanted to, because I want to make the traveler like me again, because obviously he doesn't, and that's why he didn't come save me. So I'm going to use this 2 weeks to scout out all of the temples to the other gods. And really see the guard schedules and the pre-schedules and try to sneak in. And I'll probably enlist the help of Not here.
I'll help you.
Because you're good at sneaking.
Sure.
And then
Well, we do have something we can.
What do you want to do?
I'm going to take some of the firecrackers we got from Upper Duke. And I want to set them off during his sermon.
Okay.
And then I want to, but I'm going to invoke duplicity so it looks like I'm actually still there listening to the sermon. And then while that's happening, but I'm also a disguised self, so I also want to look like somebody else while it's happening so nobody can trace it back to me.
That sounds complicated.
This is really good stuff. And then I want to run over to, is there a big statue of a platinum dragon?
There is in the center, yeah. It's not built in the floor. It's actually held aloft in the central kind of dome archway, right beneath that glowing dome at the top is, where at nighttime, as you've seen it emits this kind of faint white glow, and it's kind of this beacon in the middle of the darkened city, aside from the various bitches of torchlight.
I start playing.
Make an athletics check.
Okay.
We're gonna be busting you out of jail.
Yeah.
That's a 22.
22. Using very minute ledges that are carved out of the various temple pillars that hold up and maintain the weight of the beautiful archways that mark the top part of the temple. You kind of tiny rock climb with that finger strength that only Jester has in this whole room setup, and make your way up carefully. 1, 2, leap, and then grab onto the platinum dragon. It kind of hangs back and forth a bit, and you can now see what you can't see from far down is there are 2 sets of chains that hold it aloft up in the temple. It is actually free hanging, and now you're kind of rocking back and forth.
Ooh, you know what? I could just knock this down. That could be really good too.
That would be faster. I'm gonna hide just in one of the pews.
I start climbing up.
I saw your other guard friends running that direction. I think the impersonator was back there.
We'll go to. Hopefully, they'll go ahead and catch them. We have to wait for this one.
I heard them shouting for help, though. They were really shouting. Shouting for a lot of help.
Though the one you charmed goes, well, I'll go ahead and find out. And then walks over to help him while the one who was another charm just sits there and takes the chains from him and is now waiting for Not to get out.
Ooh.
What is this? How do I get out of this? Can I cast Dispel Magic on Not's bubble?
I will full dash and just get out of there and turn left.
Okay, using your bonus action, you just scoop past. You turn left, and you see two Crown's Guard that are just kind of approaching now, hearing this commotion. And you just scoop past and hey!
I have something where I can go turn invisible.
That's right. You just got that.
I just got it.
Okay, what are you
I'm gonna use it.
You've vanished. You're invisible for the next 6 seconds.
I run as fast as I can and then turn a corner.
Okay, and so with that, you go ahead and duck around into what looks to be a little nook on the outside of some sort of an abode or home that is placed here, just on the outside of the temple. In that moment, go to make a stealth check with advantage because you're invisible.
Natural 20.
Okay. You hear the voices of the crowd going on, like, what? Where? Just spread out. Where did you see them go? I didn't see. They just vanished. This is ridiculous. We're all going to get in serious trouble if we don't find them.
Oh my god.
And so they all begin to scatter about, and you begin to kind of weave your way through some of the nearby alleyways into the shadows of the night. That invisibility completely cut off their eye line to keep following you.
So this was one of the most memorable things that happened in campaign 2 for me.
Same. In fact, when we were talking about this, we got to show that one.
Yeah. Did we watch this together? Did this happen? I don't remember.
I know that we talked about it. I know that, it was brought up a lot of times in our conversations, especially in comparing things that were happening within our campaign. But I know that we talked about this one. If we didn't watch it together, we talked about it after it happened together,
right,
that night or the next day.
So the thing about all the voice actors on Critical Role, they first and foremost, they are professional performers. I think to circle back to, oh, Buck is one of those guys when it comes to, oh, he views D&D through the Critical Role lens. I've always approached it that way. I've always known when you play, you're not going to get exactly what they do because they're able to do this and get paid to do it. As a matter of fact, they are getting paid to do the show now. But I always loved how they were a pretty hilarious group of people in general. Not everybody is the most funny person. Like Liam O'Brien, not really a funny role player, and Taliesin, not really the most funny guy either.
Right.
But the other the other five
Can be.
players, all pretty funny. And Marisha, not she has moments, but
Yeah,
like
that's why I said they can be. Marisha's
Yeah.
not the funniest. She teeters that line where she has her moments, but sometimes
it's less like a dialogue thing and
I
more
know
like
a lot of people. This is a hot take, and I know a lot of people loved Bo, but Bo was probably my least favorite
yeah.
character in that season. in
Yeah,
that
Bo was definitely
campaign.
mine too. I was not a, and as a matter, you say that, but there's a lot of like Bo haters out there. And Bo was Marisha Ray's monk character and human monk character. I don't know. It was just something about her that I did not click with. And
Yeah.
I think it was because, like, for a large portion of the campaign, it just felt like she was trying to make Bo seem like a bro so much. But eventually, for me, that kind of petered off and she became more of an interesting character. And I started to be okay with the character over time. I felt the same about Molly Mock, which was Talison's blood hunter character. And he, Taliesin is not a big personality at all. You can tell he's an introvert. And
Right.
Molly Mock was supposed to be a very extroverted, flamboyant character. And it just didn't, I don't think the personalities went well together. And spoiler alert, if you have not watched it, also, if you have not, this will be a spoiler alert for the show that's coming out on Amazon. When Molly Mock died, it wasn't the worst thing in the world because he was replaced with Caduceus, which was a great character. Caduceus was such a freaking good character. As a matter of fact, he probably became one of my favorite characters in the campaign.
He was a good character. It's funny though because Molly was favorite. I mean, a lot of people loved
A
him.
lot of people liked him, yeah.
He was a very interesting character. I don't think that he was the best played character.
Yeah. I just
He didn't. His image didn't meet his personality.
yeah.
Or
And I
something.
think again, I think that was just the way Taliesin is versus the way the character was designed to be. Like Taliesin came off of campaign 1 playing Percy, who was kind of like this really pompous rich boy type character that was kind of reserved in a way, really fit Taliesin super well. And then he jumped into like, oh yeah, we're gonna be like chaos and all that kind of stuff, and cut myself, and that's gonna be my power. Which, by the way, I don't know if you knew this. So the Blood Hunter class that Matt created started with the
Yeah,
Witch Hunter
Witch
class,
Hunter. Yeah, I knew that.
and
We've talked
but,
about it because we
yeah.
have one in our campaign.
yep. It's also a hard class to play.
Yeah.
But so yeah, and they're for those first two campaigns, like really had a great marriage of balance within the way that everybody played, except for Orion Okaba, which I think ended up being a reason why he ended up leaving.
Mm.
Because there were quite a few, and you didn't, I don't think, you may have seen a few of these clips on YouTube or something like that, but there are quite a few moments where he clearly is clashing with other players, especially Marisha.
Yeah.
And if you are a fan of Critical Role, Marisha is Matt's wife.
The DM's
Yeah.
wife.
And there were quite a few moments where they kind of, you could tell they were trying to be controlled, but something, it was just awkward. And he was a pretty bad metagamer too. And it, which metagaming means you act on information that your character does not have, but you as the player may know, or something like that. And there's a level of metagaming in D&D that you have to do. Like, oh, my character wouldn't do this because of this reason, but you as the player know, oh, but we have to continue on our journey. So I'm going to just find a way to make this work. That's like a positive metagame interaction. However, a negative metagame interaction would be if you're in a cave and you're fighting wolves and you can't see around a corner, and but you as the player can see on the map that there's a wolf right there, and your character is like, hey, I'm going to attack that wolf, even though your character can't see it.
Yep. That exact thing.
It's a really precise example, isn't it?
Yeah, I wonder where that one come from.
So, so yeah, there's a lot of speculation on why Orion Akaba left, but no, there's been no official comment on why. And I guess they just wanted to protect themselves, maybe protect him. The conditions on which he left are really, really vague. And he left in the middle of that first campaign. He was playing a dragonborn sorcerer named Tiberius Stormwind, which doesn't sound like a dragon person's name to me at all. But nevertheless, he was one, a red dragon-born sorcerer. And
Sounds like
they
an
were,
Air Genasi.
yeah, it does, doesn't it?
It does sound like an Air Genasi.
From Dracodia is how we would always say it. Matt just one day was like, hey, he's no longer going to be on the show, and he acted a part where the character left, and that was that, which was really weird for everybody to watch, but it happened. And
So, but what I like about it is there can be, so you have certain ones that tend to be, they tend to be the funnier ones, right?
Yeah.
They tend to be the ones that carry out a lot of the chaos. Laura Bailey in campaign 2 does that a lot. Not so much in campaign 1, but in campaign 2.
she played a much more serious character in campaign 1,
Right.
albeit sultry.
Yeah, with the voice
she was a little bit of a promiscuous girl in the way she, not in her involvement with people, but in the way that she did things.
yeah. And Sam usually plays a very comedic character.
Yeah. And
However,
it's almost always a short character.
that's funny. It's true.
Almost.
However, he's also not afraid to get deep.
Yeah.
And I think you have a clip
I do have a clip
of that.
Who got Kaylee? Who brought Kaylee here?
Sit down on the bed with you. Well, it just seemed like the logical thing to do, dear.
Why the f would you do that?
Right. Well, because you seem
I promised her I wasn't going to die, and you showed her my dead body. You thought that was a good idea?
What, you'd rather she just discover it on her own?
No, I'd
This
rather
way
she
she had-
never know.
Scanlon. She came here. She helped bring you back. You know what that means, right?
Yes, I do, unfortunately.
You think it's bad that she cares about you?
I think it's bad that she thinks that I'm an oath breaker, that I am weak, that I failed in my promise to her.
All your daughter knows is that you stood against great evil, overtaking an entire continent. That's nothing to sneeze at, Scanlan.
She also knows that I fell, and that my friends thought it would be funny to put me in a nightgown and spread pudding all over me
That was me.
and bring my lifeless body and show her how weak her father is. I made a promise and I broke it, and you proved it to her. And I wish you hadn't meddled in my affairs. I don't have many things that I care about, and I don't have anything that cares about me.
That's a lie.
Yes, I'm sorry. You're right. You like me because I make jokes and I play songs and I give you a warm place to stay at night and I feed you chicken and I heal you in battle. But you don't really care about me. Come on. Let's be honest with each other.
Of course we all love you. You could crush me
Prove it.
in a second.
Prove it.
How?
What do you want us to do?
We traveled into the nine hells to get Pike a suit of armor. We went and battled a city of vampires so Percy could feel good about his name. We fought Goliaths for grog. We've traveled across planes of existence so you could fix your daddy issues. But you've never done anything for me. Ever. You've never risked anything. You don't know me. You don't know anything about me. What's my mother's name? What's her name? Easy question. Died in front of me. Killed by a goblin. Biggest part of my life. What's her name? My father. Is he alive or dead? It's fine. I'm just a little hungover for being dead. And I just have been thinking for a while that, you know, Grog has Pike. Vax has Keyleth. Percy has Vex. But Scanlan has no one.
So
Not the daddy issues.
that's the joke character. That's the main joke character of the campaign. Sorry, I had to bleep quite a lot of that out. But yeah, it could get really heavy, and I've told this to Jack before. I thought it was a pretty interesting scene. There's obviously more to it, but when you watch it, you could tell that Sam came into this whole thing and he was like totally prepared for this to happen, because this kind of was in the aftermath of what had happened in the previous episode. And this was kind of following up to it because he had died in the previous episode and they brought him back to life. And so this whole thing led to the character leaving the campaign for a time. And so you can tell that he's like, what's my mother's name? How did she die? And is my father still alive? And all that stuff. You could tell like the players are the ones that don't remember these things, because we don't remember every single detail about all the other players in the game. And he was like, I'm going to capitalize off this and make it one of the most epic moments in the campaign. And
The way that they just sit there and look at him too.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like they just put their heads down like they're trying to think. and it's great. It's a great moment. And it's kind of that classic example of like the joke character having a lot of depth that you don't see until like really precise moments. And that's a really common thing in D&D, and this was great. And you put it on top of fantastic voice actors who do this for animated TV series and video games, and it just made it great. But I want to show another clip that's kind of like an after after this event kind of thing. This one actually has Ashley Johnson in it. It's a lot shorter, so we'll play the whole thing. But Scanlan, who is Sam Riegel's character, has left and has been gone for a while. And Pike, who is not in that previous video, because Ashley Johnson was on a TV show in New York, she would have to figure out how to go back and forth. Scanlan had been pursuing Pike because they were both gnomes, and he had been trying to essentially romantically pursue her the entire time. And then he just up and leaves while she's not there. And so this is kind of her and Grog, who is Travis Willingham's character, post night of drinking, and she sends a sending spell. So
I guess find a stool and curl up.
Okay.
I'm going to bed.
Night, Shauna. It was so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for everything.
You too. What's your name?
My name's Pike.
Pike. Pleasure to meet you. And she reaches out and takes your hand.
Very nice to meet you.
That's my pinwheel.
She talks in her sleep. It'll be fine, don't worry.
She leaves, closes the door behind her. And you can choose to eventually pass out with Grog if you want as well, or
Well,
what do you want to do?
Scanlan? I know you can't hear, but I'm sitting in a tavern right now with Grog. He just went to sleep. I had a pretty good day. I had to do a lot of labor, just lifting stuff into a cart. And then Vox Machina, lo and behold, come home and I see him, and now we're here. But we miss you. I'm very tired. Saddest thing.
Oh. And with that, the night comes to a close. The next morning, the sun rises.
the reason I show that is because that mixes sadness with humor. She's doing this extremely sad thing in a super funny way, and for me, that's what D&D's should be like. So if that's Buck likes the Critical Role way of doing things, sure, I will say, yeah, guilty of that. I
Keep
know
saying that, and now I'm starting to think that that's the truth.
Well, maybe
Buck
it
is
a
that
little bit.
guy.
Maybe it is a little bit, but no, I know a lot of times whenever D&D groups get together, it's just chaos and jokes all the time, and I've been a part of some like one shots where it is like that, and I think that's fun. But if it was like that 100% of the time, or even the majority of the time, I don't know if I would enjoy it as much. But I do like the funny moments and the really serious, this is heavy kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Which we have a lot of heavy stuff in our campaigns.
we do.
But so that it was kind of like, this is just right up my alley, versus something like Dimension 20, which that's another really big actual play D&D show that their stuff's a lot shorter, but the campaigns and the actual episodes, but it is almost entirely drenched in humor, because those guys came from the college humor stuff. Yeah, this was kind of like a big marriage of things for me. And so we've talked about the success of Critical Role and why we watched it. I watched both in their entirety, campaign 1, campaign 2. I know Jack didn't really get to finish it, and that success was greatly amplified by the pandemic, I think.
Well, that's when I got my deepest into it.
Yeah.
Was during the pandemic.
Well, campaign 2 started in 2019 or 18. It might have been 18. Um,
I'm not sure.
pretty sure it was not 18 or 19.
Yeah.
And
it was.
then obviously 2020 rolled around, and I think viewer engagement skyrocketed so much to the point to where Critical Role became the most like high grossing, like money wise show
You're
on
highly
Twitch.
gross.
You're
You lost
fine.
it. You took too long for you to answer.
I didn't want to. I was gonna say you're grosser, but that sucked.
Anyway,
But it became the out of anything, like the most money coming in from a show on Twitch out of all shows on Twitch.
it didn't hurt that they partnered with D&D Beyond.
Right. Well, yeah, which didn't start out as owned by Wizards of the Coast, who
Right.
owns D&D,
But it was
who is
still-
also owned by Hasbro.
It helped both of them, I think, because it helped. I think it helped bring a lot of people to D&D Beyond. But D&D Beyond, them partnering with them was probably a big deal for them as well.
Yeah.
And they even wrote. They had like a little song, right? They wrote like a little
Sam wrote it.
commercial song.
Sam wrote it.
Can we show it?
We sure can. We sure can do that.
Got the perfect warlock, weapons and supplies. But you need a place to track your stuff, cause you're so disorganized. You click open the webpage, you heard about a critical role, and now you're ready to kick some butt in a mine shaft full of no's. It's TNT, TNT Beyond, yeah, TNT, TNT Beyond. You got your stats, you got your swords, and you got your invisible wall. It's TNT, TNT Beyond.
I remember when that first came out and it was animated and everything. I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!"
It was awesome. Which that song kind of, I think, and it being animated and everything is what led to them end up having their animated little intro that they had.
But before we get to that, they redid that song at one point. I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember this?
They redid the
Yeah.
D&D Beyond one.
Yeah, it was like this is how it went.
You got the perfect warlock, her weapons and supplies, but you need a place to track your stuff, cause you're so disorganized. Click open a webpage.
That's the same.
You heard about a critical role.
That's good.
And now you're ready to kick some butt in a mine shaft full of no's. There it is. It's D&D. D&D Beyond. That's
good. That's
good. You got your staffs, you got your swords, you got your stuffs, and you got your invisible wand. It's D&D. D&D. D&D Beyond.
That's great.
Shit. So obviously, it's not really like a remake of it. Ashley Johnson just started singing it in the middle of the show one time.
Oh,
And
wow.
which kind of shows how funny she actually is as a person. But yeah. But then it led to the first real animated trailer for Critical Role.
And I remember this being a big deal too.
God, it was so good. They wrote this too. It's got Travis Willingham singing
Laura.
on it. Laura Bailey sings on it. Ashley Johnson sings on it.
Ashley.
I initially
She does
thought-
better in this than she does on.
Yeah, she sounds like she's tone deaf in that last thing, but here
Let's take
it
a
is.
look.
The adventure begins. They were always
DM to guide you, and they rise from the flames for the battles ahead. Villains beware, 'cause you're about to be dead. They got magic and flair, they got falchions and cunning. They don't see over there, there's a monster incoming. Inspiration is waiting, rise up, don't think twice. Put your fate in your hands, take a chance, roll the dice. Can you answer the call, digging deep in your soul? As the legend unfolds, now it's your turn to roll.
This was such a great thing. I remember I watched this trailer over and over again whenever they first did it. I think, did you see it before me or did I see it before you?
I think you saw it before me because I think you told me to, or asked me if I'd seen it.
Yeah.
And so I went looking for it.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about it was like Matt's character like Matt's DM, like avatar at the end with all the other characters showing up in his hand. As the campaign progressed, the characters in his hand would change over time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was so cool. Yeah, so I think this right here is what set the stage for them actually to start a Kickstarter campaign to do an animated movie based off of Vox Machina, which was campaign 1. And they set a goal of like 100 or like $200,000 or something like that, and they were going to all voice act it. And they obliterated that goal into like the tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So much so that they have made 4 seasons of Vox Machina, which is a show on Amazon now, Prime Video. And it's doing pretty well. Now? I think it's 4. I think it's either 3 or 4. It's definitely 3 or 4.
I knew that there were 3. It could be 4 now.
Yeah.
I watched the first one and I wanted to get caught back up, but I just never did.
It's a lot easier to watch that than it is to the
Absolutely.
actual campaign. However, they change it significantly. The overall thing kind of follows a very similar story, but small details are different. They had to erase Dungeons and Dragons from it entirely because it wasn't a Dungeons and Dragons property. So there are no like mentions of like classes or you don't see any Dungeons and Dragons monsters or characters as far as I'm aware. And that also set the stage for the next show that's coming out. They are doing an animated show based off of Campaign 2, The Mighty Nine, and that literally comes out this week. It comes out today. When this airs, it comes out.
So we continue on, and then season 2 comes to an end. We get to season 3, and
Here we go.
There's a shift a little bit in it. They also kind of added like Robbie Damon.
Yeah, Robbie Damon. Who's another voice actor.
And he joined them for a while.
Mm-hmm. And that kind of started first with they did a little limited series called Exandria Unlimited,
which I watched about
limited
half of
series
that.
called Unlimited, and I watched all of it, and it wasn't bad. I was not a fan of some of the characters and Abria Iyengar.
I was about to say she's the
Yeah,
DM on that.
she DM'd it, and Matt played a character in it. Which Matt's character in it's great.
I liked him. I like him better as a DM than her.
Yeah,
I'm not, and I don't know how she plays as a player. So it's not anything against her specifically. Just maybe because it's his world, maybe because it's his. You know, maybe that's why.
It's a drastically different style too. But
It is very different.
I will say this too. I'm not a huge like. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not a huge fan of Abria Iyengar in D&D. I think she comes across as a scene stealer to me. She comes across as overly melodramatic, and she has made some, as a person, she's made some political comments that are extremely alienating. And we all know that the Critical Role guys, they are left-leaning people. We know that. Some of them are very vocal about it. But I've never felt personally attacked. And I have felt personally attacked by Brianna Iyengar. She made comments saying that you're transphobic if you play Hogwarts Legacy. Thought was the most, and that was the thing. Obviously, people were doing, but it just was like great way to alienate your fan base. It's I don't know. It's just yeah, and she played a major role in, not a permanent role, but a major role in campaign 3, and she's been in other things too. She's also a permanent role in campaign 4.
Yeah,
but we'll get there. And
and that's the thing. I think it's just crazy. I don't understand why people can't just be like, we have different opinions on things, and we have to make these blanket statements. But
I mean, Liam O'Brien and Sam Riegel are very, very outspoken,
very open,
liberals, and they share their opinions. But I never feel like personally attacked by them as somebody who does tend to lean conservative.
And while we're kind of here, I think we could talk about some of the guests that have been on there, because they've had some pretty big.
They've had a lot of big ones. A lot of big ones.
Will Wheaton
was
on there.
So Will Crusher.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you don't know who that is,
yep. Who was actually, like, he used to do like a lot of the tabletop space that, and I don't remember what channel it was, but he would have he had like a show at one point where he did tabletop stuff, like in the early 2000s, I'm pretty sure. But he was on there.
He's pretty big in D&D, right?
Yeah. Well, just tabletop gaming in general.
So they also had Kari Payton, who, if you are big into The Walking Dead, you know him as the King, or Ezekiel, who has like the pet tiger. He's so freaking awesome. Yeah. I know that's not a show that you ever got into.
Yeah, I never really got into it.
Oh, but his character is so freaking awesome.
But his character in Critical Role was also awesome.
Was awesome, really awesome. Yeah.
Blind cleric with a little hummingbird.
It's a little black hummingbird, wasn't it?
A little black hummingbird. Yeah. God, that was an awesome character. He's probably my favorite guest in campaign 2.
I think he probably was mine too. I know they've had what's his name, Utkarsh Ambudkar. He plays in Ghost. He plays
the
husband.
He was a guest in campaign 3.
Yeah,
I'm just meaning honestly, as a guest in campaign 3, he was like, his whole thing ended up being really cool.
So if you ever watch Ghost, he wears a lot of D&D shirts because he actually plays D&D. So his character, they actually have an episode where he plays D&D on the show of Ghost, and he's playing. He's like trying to DM the ghost, but he can't see the ghost. It's you. You're behind. You need to watch it. They had a few others on there.
Mika Burton is in there. That's LeVar Burton's daughter, who played Geordie LaForge on Star Trek.
Yep, yeah, he did. And Will Friedle?
Will Friedle.
Friedle, excuse me,
yeah.
Friedle.
Who played
in Boy Meets World. He played Eric
Matthews.
So Will Friedle, who plays
Eric, yeah.
Matthews.
Now that was campaign one. Honestly, he actually reprises that role in the Legend of Vox Machina TV show.
And Joe Manganiello,
Joe, yeah, Manganiello.
Man in Yellow. He also,
Yeah, he was
so
in campaign one.
they had a lot.
Yeah, and honestly, his character's like role in it was crazy. Like it's in the climax of the whole thing. Last episode, super amazing.
There's several. There's a
Yeah.
lot. And so a lot of fairly big names depending on, what you are into and things that you know. But there is kind of this, I feel like a shift in number 3. I started watching number 3 and I tried to stay up with it and I kind of lost interest, but it was a direct follow-up to that limited series that they did.
Yep. Some of the
And-
characters, like main characters in that, ended up being the main characters that a lot of the people
Yeah.
played in the
Yeah, they
campaign
did.
3.
And some of them came along but didn't last. Like they didn't
Right.
stay the whole time.
Like Robbie Damon was
Right.
one of those.
Right.
And I made it about 50 or 60 episodes in to campaign 3. I think there's like 140 or 150. And I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. Like I didn't stop watching it because I wasn't enjoying it. But I did have bigger problems with it than I did the previous 2 campaigns. And before we kind of get into what those problems could have been, I think it's important to note that this campaign saw a very large drop off in viewership. From
I was about to address the exact same thing.
Yeah. You want to go into detail on it?
I mean, we can. I don't know
Yeah.
that I can say anything specifically because I think I was one of the ones, even though I was not as a regular of a watcher as you were, Buck. I still watched pretty regularly. I was behind.
You're just slower than I was. I was making sure to watch multiple episodes a week.
And that's because even at that point, well, my job has a lot of deadlines.
Yeah.
You know that on top of that, I was the DM and, a family with, at that point, 2 children. And so I just had a lot of things on top of me that I couldn't keep up with it as fast as I
Also,
would have
I had a job where I was driving a lot.
And you listened to it a lot during that time.
So got a lot of audiobooks and a lot of D&D actual play stuff. Some other actual play shows that I was watching too. But so I can't remember the percentage, but it was a pretty significant percentage. I think it went from like it dropped millions of views. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that, but let me kind of start out by saying I loved the setup for campaign 3. What Matt was doing to try to tell this overall story was great. It was by far the best thing he had come up with so far for me. Because the previous 2 campaigns were told completely in arcs. So like you'd have so many episodes where they dealt with one thing and then that thing was over and then it totally went to another thing. That thing was over, it totally went to another thing. And that was how both of the first 2 campaigns were. But you could tell he was setting campaign 3 up to be it's one story, one arc the whole time. And like obviously they have many arcs, but it is all part of one overarching story, one overarching threat. And I am a sucker for that rather than an episodic type thing. And I thought it was unbelievably unique. But and I think you'll probably echo this. You'll echo my echo. Of your echo. But I wasn't a fan of the character dynamic.
Yeah.
It wasn't that the characters were bad overall.
They didn't connect
as a group.
To each other.
Yeah.
And I think in that it made it hard for viewers to connect.
Right.
Because from what I researched, that was one of the things that people said that they couldn't connect with it as
Yeah.
well. And I think that that's because the characters weren't connecting.
Yeah. And there were some things too. Like I I was not a big fan of Talison's character in this one at all. Like I said, like Molly Mock, I wasn't like, oh, I don't like Molly Mock. He wasn't my favorite. It was just kind of there. Ashton kind of got on my nerves, just as a viewer. I think you kind of had the same problem with him at the like when we were watching it.
He to me felt like the Beau of that season.
Yeah,
Does that
like
make sense?
yeah, the bro,
The bro who is
yeah, the
being
chaos bro.
and it didn't feel natural. It was kind of forced.
Yeah, and which stunk because I think the character could have been really good, but Taliesin is just an extremely eccentric character, like eccentric person in general, and again I think it was just a mix of his personality with what the character was, and um at first I really enjoyed Marisha's character, not Marissa, Marisha's character. Laudna, very unique, and
I really liked her, but I didn't. I know that there was kind of a change in her character, and I don't think I was there for that.
no, it was not just her character either. But I wasn't a fan of Sam's character in this very much, and there was a reason for that because
FCG.
yeah, I tended to get offended sometimes, actually. And I'm not one to like let being offended like ruin things for me. But FCG was a cleric, and it felt like at times Sam was
Taking jabs.
making fun of Christians. And because obviously he's not one, and I'm not offended by that, but it does stink as a fan of something to be made fun of by the people that you are a fan of.
Right.
Especially based on not baseless but inaccurate stereotypes. I mean, there was flat earther jokes and science denier jokes and that kind of stuff, and it just sucked, and it made me have a
Which we're
disconnect
not.
to the character. No, I make fun of flat earthers, but and
But yeah, but there was and Travis actually starts off with one character who is like this old man, and
who we had seen before,
yeah, we had seen him before, and
I want like a mini series.
yeah, and spoiler alert, he dies.
Yeah,
Is
well,
killed.
it's been years, so
I mean, it has. I mean, but just giving that out there because if people haven't watched, they want to go back. But and so they end up naming their whole kind of a group after him. He comes back in as another old character. So,
now so that was one of the coolest things about it because we were like, there's no way this character is going to stay his character with
Right.
Bertram. And he had
Bertram
been
Bell.
seen, yeah, Bertram Bell, which actually ended up being kind of the namesake for the group, which was Bell's Hells, which I
That's a
also
stupid name.
I hated that name, but and
I get it. It's a play on Hell's Bells. We get it.
yeah,
We know why.
but it sounds like you screwed it up. But so and he died, and then Travis wasn't there for a long time, like
He
for
wasn't.
several
He
episodes.
wasn't. Mhm.
And we were like, who's Travis gonna be? Who's Travis gonna be? And then
I remember though, it didn't come as a shock because you and I had already talked about it and kind of decided that he was not going to because
Yeah.
like you had just said he couldn't stay that way. So we were like, I think he's gonna die.
yeah, because the character was a lower level than when the character had shown up before.
But he was still higher than the others.
He was a little higher than the others, yeah. Um, he was like, they were all like level 3, and he was like level 6 or 5 or 6. Um, and so which I thought was really weird, but so yeah, and there was a lot of really great scenarios that ended up happening, but I think there was just a an imbalance for me in what I had found in D&D, which was a lot of the players went the way of we're trying to be funny characters. Like, and some of those characters were great. Like Ashley Johnson played Fern, who is a really funny character and probably one of my favorite characters in the show. And Sam
Was.
played FCG, Taliesin played Ashton, Travis played Chetney, Marisha played Laudna, and then you had Laura playing a serious character and Liam playing a serious character. And that was a much bigger imbalance in serious to humorous than we had gotten before. Now everybody had moments of seriousness, but it was heavily outweighed. And I think maybe part of the reason for that was Dorian was kind of a serious character, and they started out with him in the campaign. And I kind of realized a correlation after Dorian left the campaign. I stopped enjoying it as much. And I think it was because that balance shifted.
And Dorian was Robbie Damon's character.
Yeah. And he eventually came back. He
was like a prince or
he was a bard. He was a Air Genasi bard.
Wasn't he royal or had some kind of?
He had like nobility in him. He's a noble. Yeah. And there was kind of like a romantic thing going on between his and Liam's character, which Liam has a tendency to always have some sort of like gay, bisexual, pansexual type character.
He really does.
I think he is that though, but he is married to a woman. But it started to get weird for me when they started bringing on a lot of guests. And they split the party into 2 groups and brought on guests. And I think a lot of the fans, did you get that far? Were they, so,
to be quite honest, I didn't last much longer past Chetney joining.
I wouldn't have minded Chetney alone.
I didn't hate him. It wasn't even, I don't even think it was him. I just think I felt the difference in the whole, because I wasn't even really a big fan of Bertram. I think it was just the difference in this campaign from, like you said, the others.
Yep. And so Tom and I continued to watch it. He didn't watch it as far as I did, but he watched it further than you did. And he got to where the split happens. They bring in a bunch of guests, and he's like, I just want to get back to the main story, which is a thing that he is like.
That's for him anyway. He's kind of that way.
I think everybody was feeling that. Like it was so long, but it wasn't long after that I started to fall off watching it, because I was getting into reading some book series and stuff like that, and I ended up having to choose between my time, and it just kind of fizzled out. And I want to eventually finish it. I might watch the abridged versions once they finish them, because they're still making them, like, and they're only up to like episode 60, which is a bummer. But so they finished that campaign, and that was the conclusion of the world that campaign 1 through 3 was in, which was Exandria. And there's no more Exandria like full on campaigns.
So what is 4?
It's in a totally different world.
Oh.
Yeah. So campaign 4 there's not a whole lot to talk about, but
Listen, I already knew that there was a
It's-
cluster fudge that was going on
yeah.
with it. Quite literally, it's clustered.
And who knows if it is though? It could be one, but it is such. There's so much going on with it, and I think they're like 6 or 7 episodes in at this point. And I started to watch the first one, and it's not bad. From what I understand, the first 4 episodes are designed for you to get to know the characters, and that's all they
Because
are.
there's
Yeah.
so many of them.
There's like 13 characters, and they're going to be separated into 3 different groups.
As a DM,
Yeah.
that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah. Well, so funny thing, Matthew
Make me
Mercer
laugh.
is not the DM.
I ain't laughing.
He's a player.
Who's DMing this one?
Brennan Lee Mulligan, who is.
Does he not want to DM anymore? Do we know?
I think they just want the statement was they wanted to give him a break. And I'm sure that's partially
Well, give him a
true.
Kit Kat bar. Listen. So how long did they play before they started airing the first campaign?
Like 4 years.
So before they started,
Yeah,
and it aired for 2 years.
maybe.
I'm looking at it. So
Okay.
there was 115 episodes, games. It aired from March 12th, 2015 to October 12th, 2017. So over 2 years. So 4, 5, 6, that's 6 years of that one campaign of them playing it.
Yeah.
Campaign 2 was from January 2018 to June 2021. Again, that was
Almost,
during
yeah.
the pandemic, and everybody was at home and had nothing else to do, and so that's what we did. It picked it up, and you go in, and I think that's part of the the fall of viewership too. Everybody's going back to work during that third campaign. That doesn't really help them.
Yeah.
It was from October 2021 to February of 2025. And then, of course, the fourth one just picked up in October of 2025. It's only been 6 episodes.
Yeah, and how who knows how long this campaign would take. Now, so Brendan Lee Mulligan is a phenomenal DM. He's actually DM'd some stuff, like some of the more limited series on Critical Role's channel. He DM'd two like miniseries. One was called Exandria Calamity, and the other one was, I think, Divergence. But I watched Calamity. I didn't watch Divergence. Calamity is amazing. It's a 5 episode miniseries, and it is so good. It is so good. So Brandon Lee Mulligan is a phenomenal DM. He's a different kind of DM from Matthew Mercer. Matthew Mercer is probably the best at immersing you with characters out of any DM that I've ever seen. Brendan Lee Mulligan, the thing that I like the most about him is he really, really gets excited about what the players do in his campaigns. He's a big rule of cool guy. And he's good at he's a good improv actor and that kind of stuff. Knows rules really, really well, and great world builder too, just like Matt's a great world builder. But I think that's my favorite thing about him. When somebody does something, he gets as excited about it as the players do. So the weird thing about this, the way they're doing this is actually a way that a lot of people play D&D. And that's really unusual. I know, but I don't know very much.
Did you explain? That was such a weird statement.
I'm about to explain. I don't understand how it works entirely, but there's an approach to D&D called West March. And essentially what I know of it is you have like these servers, like Discord servers or whatever, and you have a West March server within that, like on Discord or something like that, and it could have like hundreds of people playing in the same story, and you might have different people kind of delegating and kind of playing the role of DM for these people, and they kind of all collaborate together with the overarching storyline, it sounds like impossible to play to me. Obviously, this is a much smaller scale of that, but whenever they were describing what they were doing, Brennan was talking about West March, West March, West March, and so I think that's kind of what they're doing. The approach that I know they're doing, they're playing this with three different core groups of people. Um, and they all kind of play different roles. You have like a combat group who they're going to focus predominantly on fighting. You're going to have like an espionage group who are going to like focus on like sneaking and stuff like that. And then you're going to have like a politics group. And I think they will obviously like cross over into each other and that kind of stuff. And everybody will do all of those things, but they'll focus on that.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is cool. Like when you hear
I
it.
guess so. If you're not as interested in the battle of D&D, then maybe you don't want to be in the battle group. You want to be in some, maybe you want to be in the politics or something else.
Yeah.
The espionage.
I mean, like I know for you, like if you were to or have to pick between things in D&D, you'd probably pick role play like way before combat. And
yes.
And I probably would too, but I wouldn't totally be satisfied with role play alone. And but
I mean, I would want some battle here and there. I wouldn't need it every game or
and you have
every
some people who are like, oh, I've got to have combat every single game.
Mm-hmm. We have some in our campaign.
Yep. And so it's an interesting approach to it. I think it will be entertaining. My worry is this just a is this just an attempt to regain a following like that they've lost? We're like what we were doing isn't working anymore, so let's just try something totally different and see if that works. Which kind of sucks because if it doesn't work with so many characters, I don't see how the campaign won't go on longer than any other campaign that they've had. And I think they're all starting out at level 3 from what I saw. And I mean, it took almost 4 years from level 3 to level 20 in the last campaign. With 13 characters, how long is this campaign going to take? And these episodes are on average lasting longer than the other episodes were, which for me, I think that is a huge part of the problem why they've started to see a drop off in viewership, because I don't think people want to sit and watch a 4-hour episode every week anymore. That's something you and I have talked about quite a lot.
Yeah.
And it was always a problem for a lot of people, but now that the pandemic is over and people are kind of back in normal like work lives and that kind of stuff, they don't have 4 hours to spare on one show every week.
Yeah.
And several of these episodes have been 5 hours long on this new campaign.
Yeah, that could kill them.
Yeah. I really think
and they, as we've already stated, people were having a hard time connecting to the characters. You're going to have a hard time connecting to that many characters. It's just not going to be a thing.
Like most TV shows don't even have that many main characters. You have like at most like a core group of 5 to 7 main characters most of the time. And then you have supporting characters who may take the limelight every now and then, take the spotlight every now and then. But 13 is so many. It's so many. And I don't want Critical Role to become a thing of the past. It was such a cool thing. I really would love for D&D actual play to become a more manageable thing. And I think instead of adding characters and making the episodes longer and potentially the campaigns longer, maybe what people should start doing is making significantly shorter episodes. Like hour-long episodes, hour-and-a-half long episodes, campaigns significantly shorter, which is what Dimension 20 is always done, but
And relics and rarities
yeah,
were only
yeah.
maybe an hour long.
And Dimension 20, they have their own kind of following. Like there's a lot of people that watch Dimension 20 that never really watch Critical Role. I mean that's where Brendan Lee Mulligan is. That's where you see a Bria Iyengar a lot there. But and they have guests too. Like Matt played a character on one of their campaigns too. And those campaigns generally end up being like 20 episodes long, and they're all about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I think the last episode ends up being really, really long, like an 8 hour episode, but that's like the last episode. And I know they also film it, they film like full film days too. So that they'll like play for 8 hours and then cut that 8 hour segment up into episodes. And versus live streaming, which I think live streaming actual plays is probably becoming a thing that nobody wants to do anymore. Um, like who's got 5 hours just to go watch them play? Especially if you live on the East Coast, the show starts at 10 o'clock here,
Yeah.
and
Now, and one thing that we were kind of afraid of before this one started, we thought they might be moving away from D&D.
yeah, which I wasn't really like afraid of,
Let's say afraid of. I just
but
mean
like
we. That's kind of where they've gotten their grounding, their base, fandom from. And I don't not an afraid that like I mean I don't even watch it. What am I afraid of? It's not that. I just
I
mean
mean I wasn't like upset by it. Is what I
right.
mean.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. Like I wasn't even upset by it because I wasn't even watching it, but anymore. But it was a discussion that we've had of like, are they doing that? Why
Yeah.
would they do that?
They
And
started Daggerheart, which is their own
correct.
thing, and I don't care what they say. It is an alternative to D&D. They said that it wasn't ever created to be an alternative to D&D. It is absolutely an alternative to D&D. I've played it a couple times. It's really fun. It's different, but I thought that campaign was going to be in Daggerheart. I think it honestly, I think it probably should have been, but but I mean, the fact that it's not that big of a deal either. But I don't know. All this to summarize, I think the future of Critical Role is unclear, and I think the future of actual play D&D shows is extremely unclear. And I think the evidence is showing that more and more viewers are no longer watching it. Like not just
Yeah.
Critical Role, but just watching people play D&D. I don't think people are doing as much anymore.
I think probably, and I could be wrong. I would imagine people probably are listening to it more than they're watching it because people don't have the time to sit and watch it.
Yep.
But you can listen to it sometimes when you're working or, doing other things, cleaning up around the house, whatever that is for you. You probably do have more of a chance to listen more than you do watch.
Right. But I hope it's really successful. I hope if it's not successful, that it doesn't keep them from doing another campaign, but that they adapt and whatever. Matt said that as long as the players want to continue to do these things, that they will do them forever. He's like, and I
But
can
will they
appreciate
use
that.
it? But will they? That's fine. But does that mean that they're going to continue to put them out
I don't
as
know,
content?
but I will say this. I was going to say this. He has on record said that his obligation first and foremost is to the players, not the fans. And I do appreciate that.
That's why I say
Like,
I think it's fine if they want to continue playing. I'm not saying that they should quit by any means. I'm just saying, does that mean that they'll continue playing and they won't put it out as content anymore, or will they just continue to put it out for content for whoever just wants to?
yeah. Yeah.
You know,
But final thoughts.
I think we've kind of covered everything.
Yeah.
I would echo that. I hope that if it is not entertaining for the viewer or the listener, the fan, that maybe they take that and go back to what was working for them. It's fine and dandy. If you want to put your players first, I would agree with that. But at the same time, if this is how you're making your business, you also have to appease your customer base.
Yeah, I do agree with that, and I think there's a way to please both. For like, you could make the campaign shorter instead of having a 20 or a 17 level campaign like they've been doing. Do a 10 level campaign to make the campaign shorter, so people eventually are able to get different characters, and not feel like they have to watch what would be effectively one season for almost 4 years.
Yeah.
Make the episodes shorter, and yeah. So that's kind of what my thoughts are. And obviously, I don't think that this model for this campaign is going to be the same model for the next campaign, because I think this is a thing they're doing specifically with Brennan. And I think they'll probably do something different the next time. But
yeah, they've already asked me to come and DM for the next time. So yeah,
absolutely.
I had to turn them down though.
I do plan on continuing to try to watch it when I get time to. And I don't want to get. I want to try to do that relatively soon, because if I get too far behind, I won't. Which is what happened in campaign 3. And so yeah, but I'll kind of keep you posted on how it's going whenever I actually start like following it more intently. But
all right,
we'll see if the adventure is still just beginning, or if this is the end of the adventure for Critical Role.
Okay,
that's my closing remark.
If the adventure awaits, or
if it is at a close.
At a close. All right. Well, on that really thought through idea that you had there, closing. I love you, Buck.
Oh God, this is gonna be an every episode thing, isn't it?
Get out of my burrow.
Down and down the rabbit hole.